Welcome to today's episode of Spill Your Beans. Today our guest, Alan. I won't get into the details of what he does. We're going to let him do that, but welcome to the show, Alan.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. That's what we do. So thanks for coming out. You had no problem getting here?
No.
No? How far are you?
I live out in Chilliwack.
Chilliwack?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Just about 20
We don't mind
25 minutes.
Chilliwack. Chilliwack's a good place. Little south, well, east, northeast of us, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
You get a lot more rain over there, actually.
A little bit.
I'm not saying we don't get enough here either. But so who are you and what do you do? We're not going to get into the business side. That we'll save later. But the general gist of you.
Well, I'm from BC. I'm a Kelowna boy, born and raised there. Spent 13 years out in Alberta and then was actually transferred down to the Lower Mainland with the company I was with at the time. That was back in 1989 and have lived in the Mission, Abbotsford, Chilliwack area ever since.
And so let's compare. Prairies, BC.
BC.
Well, I do know if you're in the prairies, you get sunshine, I think, like 360 days of a year. Even if you get snow or a thunderstorm, it'll still be sunny that day.
Yes, but you know what? I have a friend in Edmonton, and he'll tell me it's, minus 40, and I'll say, well, I had to mow my lawn today. So.
It's kind of a theme of what we've been doing today. Even our last guest earlier had the same story, prairies to here. So... Not saying move to the BC. Prairies are good too. So how long have you been in Chilliwack? Did you come to Abbotsford first? Or?
Actually lived in Mission for a number of years, from 89 till 99, and then lived in Abbotsford until 2010, and then we moved out to Chilliwack.
Actually, that's a trend going on. I'm finding more and more people are heading east from Vancouver, Surrey, Langley area, even farther heading, Agassiz, a trend of people heading that way. So this work, are you still in the same field of work that's brought you this way? Or?
No. Life has dealt a number of different curveballs, and I certainly never thought that I would be in full-time charitable type work and everything, but I did it for a number of years, and then I got back into business, and I was in the business world for quite a while, and then a friend of mine had become the chairman of the board of Habitat in Abbotsford, and he asked if I would do some help. And I started to volunteer, and that was about 4.5 years ago. And then I was elected to the board, and I served as vice chair. And then they asked if I would step down and actually join the staff. So I did that 2 years ago in February.
Okay. Now, the charitable side of life. We have lived such in a box, like got to be at work, got to pay the bills. So people don't find the time to get out and volunteer. How did you find the time to volunteer?
Well, it was interesting. Somebody asked me that the other day, and how did I get involved in charitable work? And when I was 13, I actually formed a Red Cross club in our school, and we actually raised money for the Red Cross. So that was my first endeavor into charitable type work.
So, when you were 13, you did this? Now, what at the age of 13 makes you want to help? Is that something internal? Is it something your parents instilled on you? Is it a cultural, spiritual thing? Because that's something big to do. I know kids are giving.
Yeah.
You notice most charitable things is the kids are honestly the givers. But to go out and start something, that's a big deal. At 13.
Yeah.
When you're just trying to become a rebel and know everything in life. And
Yeah, well, I guess first of all, my parents modeled it. My parents were very, very active in the community. My dad served for 45 years as the volunteer fire chief for Kelowna. He started the water search and rescue there. They were Cub Scout leaders. So all of those things it was just a natural thing. And it's interesting. All of my brothers and myself have all done volunteer work. And it was modeled. And it wasn't something that I necessarily thought about. It was just something that you help other people.
it just feels normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And how long is he still with the fire department? I'm guessing he's retired.
No, well, my parents have passed away now.
I'm sorry.
So, but my dad actually served until he was 74. They asked him to stay on, He didn't, when he finally moved down here after my mom passed away from Kelowna, he stepped down then, but...
Yeah, you know what? That's the old nature of things. They don't like to quit. My dad has a no quit attitude in him. You ask him about retirement, and he's been retired for a while, but he doesn't consider himself retired. It's just ingrained in him. I don't know how to explain it to you. Like, not like my generation. I know I'm looking for freedom 45 instead of this freedom 55 thing going on.
Well, I think it's freedom 95 now. No.
There's no such thing. Work hard now, start saving now, but that would be for a different episode as well. But yeah, it's tough these days. Like,
Yeah.
I used to be a banker, so I know how people's numbers...
So was I. So.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, we'll talk after.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm out of that world now.
Yeah.
I mean, you realize how tough people really have it in life. Like, the cars we drive, they're not paid, they're financed, you know?
Yeah.
And then you're pulling into a house that's not owned, it's mortgaged. So we're living, not a lie, but to the means that it looks like we're living, no. Most families are in debt in this community, or this country.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's a different topic. So about helping. Parents giving this big, good structure to your life. You've carried this forward? You have kids?
Yeah, I have 2 children and 5 grandchildren now. So
Wow.
I always like what Zig Ziglar said about children. He says, if I'd known grandchildren were this much fun, I would have been a lot nicer to their parents.
Are they all living close by in the valley here?
My one son and his family live here in Abbotsford, and my daughter and her family live in Calgary. So.
Oh, so still got a tie to the prairies.
Yeah. My children were actually born in Calgary, and my daughter ended up marrying a fellow, and that's where he was based. So they met at Trinity Western.
Oh, it's just not far from here, no.
Yeah.
We actually got a pretty good following from Trinity here. And they have some of my chai over there, but I can't say the name of the chai either. Now, we've talked about you being here. You got a little bit of family structure, and you mentioned you are now actually not a volunteer with Habitat for Humanity. You're on the board?
I actually, I'm on staff, so my role is business development. So I work with businesses in the community, individuals, raising support, fundraising activities, and letting people know exactly what we do, and raising volunteers for the projects that we do.
So letting people know exactly what they do. Habitat for Humanity, we're going to talk about that when we get back from this break. Welcome back. And before we went there, we were trying to find out about Alan, where he's from, what he does. Now, let's get into detail about the company you're involved with.
So Habitat for Humanity was founded in 1976, and we are a Christian organization, but we help people regardless of faith or color, creed. We're there to help. And our philosophy is that every human being deserves a safe, secure, affordable place to live.
Where, in Canada?
Anywhere.
Okay, where's anywhere?
So we're building in over 100 different countries right now.
Really?
Literally on every continent.
Wow.
In the world. Most of our work is done by volunteers. We have 59 offices across Canada, for example. But last year we had 63,000 Canadians volunteer with Habitat.
Within Canada?
Yes.
Wow.
So that either they were working on housing projects here, or they were traveling to other countries to work on projects there.
So you say it's a Christian organization helping all different faiths. So are these volunteers going on missions trips? Are they going...
Yeah, some of them are faith groups that do that, churches, other faith groups, and then other people will just go because they want to go and help, or sometimes groups will, like, we have different companies, and I'll even plug one here locally. Rona and Lowe's are actually down in Mexico doing a build with Habitat for Humanity right now.
Okay, now while we're plugging that, any of our audience viewers watching, if they want to get involved and go on, who should they contact?
Best thing to do is to come to our website. It's habitatufv.ca. That's for Habitat Upper Fraser Valley.
So not the university, Upper Fraser Valley, okay.
And we can direct them to the right people, or they can just go into habitat.ca if they're interested in a missions type trip to another country.
Okay, so say me right now. Okay, Alan, I want to go on a trip. Do I have to come up with my own ticket, funding, and all that?
Yeah.
So is there fundraisers or anything?
Yes. So what we do is we try and get people to not only to pay their own expenses, but to raise a certain amount of money so that we have the materials and the supplies and the equipment and the people there ready for them when they come on the trip. And that way we're maximizing the effectiveness of the volunteers that we get. And also as important as that, and we have a lot of companies and groups that do builds locally. They'll come out for a day, and we want to make it a fantastic experience. It's not just about the actual building of the home, but it's about the relationship, it's about the fun, and it's the community that you gain through that. And I've talked to people that have done it and companies that have done it, and they say, what a difference it makes in the workplace. When you go out and volunteer with people, it changes your perspective of who they are and what they're like. The families, they put in 500 hours of sweat equity, and that's their buy-in to the project. But the other component of it is we are focused on helping families that are living in poverty. Mm-hmm. And people that are raised in poverty tend to reproduce themselves. And about 7% of people that are raised in poverty will get out of poverty on their own.
That's it.
So that means that 93% are reproducing that. Mm-hmm. And by us stepping in and helping them to get a home, it stabilizes their life. It provides them with a safe, secure environment to learn, to grow in. And what we find is that our success rate is 93% of the families that we help are able to complete on their home purchase.
Wow.
And one of the reasons for that is in volunteering, these people actually work beside other volunteers. And they get a whole new sphere of influence. They develop new relationships, new friendships. And all of us will face struggles in life. But having a resource base of people that you can talk to, that you've worked with, it gives you the ability to draw on other people's experience and expertise and get help when you need it, because at certain times all of us need help.
I think what you're saying, it's the fact that we victimize ourselves. Say we're in a tough spot in poverty, we hide ourselves, oh, why is life like this? All of a sudden they're in a community with volunteers building for themselves to get ahead. So everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah.
So it makes you realize I'm not alone. There are other people in the same situation trying to find their way out. So it's easy to relate to people and, like you said, dig your way out, right? It gives you that hope of like, oh, I'm not the only one here. And then I know I did some research. I won't get into the facts and figures of it, but don't you also provide these homeowners now an ability to pay it off without interest?
Yeah.
Right.
So the families that we're helping, and we look at a lot of different things when in selecting the family. We're looking at need, how many children they have, what type of income do they have, how much are they paying on rent now. Over a third of British Columbians now pay 50% or more of their household income on rent.
That's at a bank, it's called total debt service ratio, TDSR. They set it at 42%. We won't get into the technicality of that either, but it's way too high of a number.
Yeah.
You guys are providing it at about a 30%. So you people looking, it's a 30% TDSR ratio compared to a bank max out at 42%.
Yeah.
Back to your stories, right?
So
the technical side.
Yeah. So with that, people that are paying that much on rent, especially people that are already living in poverty, it means they're making hard choices like, do we heat our home this month? Or do we buy food? Or I know of one case I heard about the other day. This boy has diabetes. They can't afford his prescriptions. So he has to have needles 3 times a day. So he reuses his needles like 30, 40 times until they're so dull he can't get them
Okay.
to puncture in anymore. That shouldn't be happening.
What Alan is just telling us here is the basic majority of Canada is getting $100 per paycheck, and they're spending 50 or more of those dollars just for that roof over their house, the interest payments, and the basic property taxes. So how is somebody supposed to live off of the rest of the $50?
Yeah.
That's where we're getting at. It's saying the structure of economics in Canada. And I'm going to say personal preference, because if somebody maxes out a 42 TDSR, they're going to buy that house. They're not going to say, oh no, I'm going to buy the smaller house. We usually want the biggest piece of the pie that we can get. So we're our own culprits as well. But the system is set up so when you do get your home, you're spending more than half of your paycheck. It's hard to survive. So Habitat for Humanity is giving you an option of keeping 70% of your income for other expenses and not for living. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the basic gist. Is we're saying you're getting to keep 70% of your income compared to home owning on a normal mortgage. You're losing about 50% right off the top just to live. Okay.
And you know, so it's an incredible experience for people. It does change their lives, and the most exciting thing that we get to do is when we have what we call our dedication ceremonies, and that's when we give the homeowner their key, and it brings tears. It is an incredible moment to watch that family get their keys and go into their home for the first time, and they own it.
Yeah.
And for most of these people, homeownership is a dream that they never thought they would ever be able to do.
And they're helping other people build theirs.
Yeah.
See, yeah. Now we've talked all these countries, every continent out there. What about Canada?
So in Canada, we've got a number of exciting things happening. And locally here, we're just starting our largest build ever for Upper Fraser Valley. We have an 18-unit townhouse development that we're starting in Mission. And we hope to break ground on that in April or early May. So that's going. We're looking for land right now in Abbotsford, and we hope that we may have a piece that would work for us. We have a conditional offer in Chilliwack on a piece of land there. So we are trying to build in our own community, and that's one of the neat things about Habitat is you can do it locally, you can do it nationally, or you can do it internationally. We're helping people literally around the world.
Yeah. So that's for those of you that can't afford to go on a missions trip and help overseas, because it might be a lot to living expenses, the ticket and everything. You can find a way of doing it. Go to Calgary and help, or go to Toronto. There's always places, and you're still getting a mini vacation, plus you're getting the help. Before we went, I know I cut Alan off really quickly there. So why don't you start up from the 150th anniversary Canada?
Right. So this year being our 150th anniversary, President Jimmy Carter and Rosalind Carter have volunteered with Habitat since 1984, and every year they pick a different country to do a build in. So this year they've selected Canada in honor of our 150th anniversary.
July 1st on?
So July the 1st to July the 5th, we're going to build 150 houses across Canada in honor of our 150th anniversary.
Like, where? Like every big municipalities, smaller places?
All over the country. So we'll be building here locally. We'll be building in Vancouver. We'll be building in the interior. President Carter is now 92, so he doesn't travel as well as he used to, but he's actually going to be in Edmonton and Winnipeg.
You gonna give him a hammer?
He still does.
Yeah.
He still works and actually builds on all the projects. So it's quite amazing, actually.
Let's keep you youthful, I guess. You know, staying active and helping people. It's a certain energy.
It is, and he's certainly our most famous volunteer that we have. But we have a number of very significant people that come out and volunteer. And it's interesting. Today we were at the Chilliwack Home Show. And I actually met a couple that got a home in 1993 from Habitat, And that was when the Jimmy Carter and Rosalind had done Canada once before in 1993. And they got a home in Regina, and actually it was one of the Jimmy Carter homes. So they now moved out here, and they actually came in and they're starting to volunteer with us out here.
So here's a question. Now you said the success rate. Now somebody who's gone through the co-housing here through Habitat, they've found that, hey, I'm successful. I'm going to go buy a bigger house. What happens to the original house?
So what we do now is generally speaking, we actually buy the home back from them.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. So what we do is we return the money that they paid in a lump sum, and they can then use that to move on and use that for the down payment on their new home.
With the sweat equity they'd originally put in?
No,
or?
all the payments that they make.
Oh, wow.
We actually return all of that money to them.
So it's their own personal bank account without interest?
Yeah. And then they can take that and buy the home that they want, and then we refurbish the home and put another family in.
Good for you guys.
So it.
I didn't know that.
To give you an idea of how much of an impact it's having, I started volunteering about 4.5 years ago, and at that time, every 28 minutes a family moved into a Habitat home somewhere in the world. That's now every 51 seconds.
That's insane.
A family moves into a Habitat home.
Now, if you put those numbers together, that's insane.
Yeah.
There's 168 hours in a week times 24 hours per.
So yeah, we're making a significant impact now.
Times 51. That's insane.
And one of the other cool things is we have what we call restores, and our restores are new and used building good outlets.
Okay.
Anything to finish, improve your home or decorate.
Like a hardware store.
Yeah,
Okay.
and everything in there is donated. All of that material would have gone to landfills. So last year we were actually able to save 36,000 tons of goods that would have gone into the garbage dump. We've recycled and repurposed it. That provides us with all of our administration, our management, our fundraising is all covered by our restores. And not only that, but it contributes money towards our builds as well. So when we ask for donations or support from the general public, 100% of what they give goes into the home. Nothing is taken out. And the other thing is, every time a homeowner makes a home payment, that money goes into building another home.
Oh, got it.
So that's how we're
It's like
experiencing.
registered funds.
Yeah,
like in a RESP. It's registered with the government, but they're using your money to go do something else with it.
Yeah.
And so you lock it in for 20, 30 years, whatever it is. But
Yeah.
okay.
So it allows, and that's why we're growing so fast now. It's taken many years, but the more homes we build, the more homes we're actually able to build because we get more and more payments
Exponentially
coming in.
growing,
Yeah,
actually.
and that's really what we've experienced over the last 4 years.
All right. So with this new initiative, 150-year celebration in Canada, and President Carter coming in, we've got an audience here. How do they reach out, get involved? So tell me your address here in Abbotsford, your online website, social media. Let our audience know. We'll share all that information on our website as well.
Okay, awesome. So to help out, you can go to our website. It's www.habitatufv.ca. So that's Habitat Upper Fraser Valley. Our phone number here in Abbotsford is 604-557-1020, 557-1020. And you can call me, Alan Wilson, and I'll direct you to the right person, or just ask and they'll help you at the switchboard. If you want to help or be involved, you can make donations online through Facebook, or you can come into the restore. If you have goods that you would like to donate, call us. We can pick it up. We do delivery and pickup. And if you're interested in volunteering, or if your company's interested, give us a call and we'll explain what's all involved in doing it. And maybe one of you can, we'll meet one day and we can swing a hammer together.
You know what? Human nature, we are self-destructive. We usually don't take care of ourselves, but I think joining such an organization and helping somebody else is the true meaning of life. I mean, it's what we do as a team here on Spill Your Beans. You're on here because of what you do and helping people. And so if we could all kind of get together and help somebody out in our lifetime, imagine what kind of a world we'd live in here.
And our philosophy is a hand up, not a handout. And that's why we're able to help people change lives, because they work for it. They contribute towards it, but it is a life-changing event. Whether you're a volunteer or whether you're a family receiving the help, it's a life-changing thing.
You guys, I'm going to leave it on that note that Alan just said. It is life-changing. I know I read the website. I went onto Wikipedia, checked on their main information, and the biggest thing was it's not a handout. You're actually working for yourself, and you're learning how to save. You actually are providing financial tips as well, so they're educating these people. We didn't get into that side, but they're also providing education for people building and volunteering, how to manage money better. So they're teaching a new lifestyle there, a new way of living. So thank you, Alan, for joining us. And I'm sure we could talk about 100 different things on here, but I think we got the basic gist of it. Anything I'm missing that we really want to share with the audience before we go here?
Just that don't think that you don't make a difference. Whether you come out and you volunteer for an hour or a day or a week or a month, it really doesn't matter. Every little bit helps, and the same with donations. Every dollar does make a difference, and because every dollar is going into our build, and that dollar gets recycled over and over and over again, you're giving for literally for eternity, because that money will always go into building homes for more people.
So every little bit helps. Till next time.